They called me the weakest student at the academy. Not the second weakest, not almost the weakest. The weakest. My name is Kai, and for 3 years, I had failed every combat test, every magic exam, and almost every practical lesson. While other students could summon fire, control lightning, and destroy stone with a single spell, I could barely create a spark. Every time I entered the training arena, people laughed. Every time my score appeared on the screen, the entire class already knew what it would say. 0, or something close to it. I tried everything. I trained before sunrise. I practiced swordsmanship until my arms felt like they would fall off. I studied ancient magic until midnight, but nothing worked. The teachers told me that some people simply weren't born with talent. My classmates told me I should leave the academy, and honestly, I started believing them. Then came the annual weapon awakening ceremony. It was the most important day of the year. Every student would stand before the ancient weapon altar and awaken a weapon connected to their magical potential. The strongest students usually received legendary swords. Others received enchanted bows, staffs, spears, or magical blades. I already knew what would happen to me. Nothing. When my name was called, I walked toward the altar while hundreds of students watched. I could hear people whispering, "He's going to fail again. Why is he even here? Maybe the altar will finally reject him." I tried to ignore them. I placed my hand on the ancient stone. Nothing happened. 5 seconds passed, then 10. The hall erupted with laughter. I lowered my head. For a moment, I thought they were right. Maybe I really was useless. Maybe I had wasted 3 years chasing something I could never become. Then, I heard a voice. "Kai." I looked around. Nobody had spoken. The students were still laughing. Then the voice came again. "Finally, you found me." My heart stopped. I looked down at the altar. A tiny blue crack appeared across the stone. Then another. The entire altar began shaking. The laughter disappeared. The floor beneath me started glowing. Something was awakening. The ancient stone exploded with blue energy, and from beneath it, a sword rose into the air. It wasn't like any weapon I had ever seen. The blade was completely black. Ancient blue runes covered its surface. Dark energy surrounded the guard. And somehow, I knew its name. Eclipse, the forbidden sword, the weapon that had supposedly never chosen a single person in the history of the academy. Everyone stepped backward. Even the instructors looked terrified. Then Eclipse spoke directly inside my mind. "Take me." I reached toward it. The moment my hand touched the handle, the entire academy shook. A massive wave of blue energy exploded from my body. Students were thrown backward. Windows shattered. The magical lights throughout the hall went dark. And for the first time in my life, I felt power. Real power. But it wasn't the kind of power I expected. It felt ancient. Like something had been sleeping inside me for years. The headmaster rushed toward me. His face had gone completely pale. "Put that sword down." I looked at him. "Why?" He didn't answer. Instead, he stared at Eclipse. Then he whispered something that made the entire room go silent. "That sword was sealed here 100 years ago." I tightened my grip. "Why?" The headmaster looked directly into my eyes. "Because the last person who wielded it destroyed an entire kingdom." Everyone started backing away from me. The same students who had laughed at me moments earlier were now terrified. One of them pointed at me. "He's dangerous!" Another shouted, "Get away from him!" I looked around the room. Yesterday I was the weakest student. Today everyone was afraid of me. But Eclipse suddenly spoke again. "Your power isn't awake yet." I froze. "What do you mean?" "That was only the first seal." I stared at the sword. "How many are there?" Eclipse answered, 7. 7 seals. 7 levels of power. And apparently, I had just broken the first. The headmaster ordered the instructors to take Eclipse away. They surrounded me. But before anyone could touch the sword, Eclipse released another wave of energy. Every magical weapon in the room suddenly shattered. The instructors froze. Nobody moved. Then the headmaster looked at me with fear. "Run." I didn't understand. "Run where?" He looked toward the enormous academy windows. "Because they are already coming." Outside the academy, the sky suddenly turned black. A massive magical barrier appeared over the city. Then hundreds of shadow creatures began descending from the clouds. The academy alarm started screaming. Students ran in every direction. Teachers rushed toward the exits. And I stood there, still holding Eclipse. The sword spoke again. "They found you." "Who?" "The ones who have been searching for you since you were born."